بيكم في حلقة جديدة من حلقات Oxford Discover Futures Level 2. النهاردة بنكمل في Unit 2. هنا الجرامر التاني عندي telling stories about the past. هنتكلم عن حاجات حصلت في الباست بكل أشكاله بقى. We use the simple past, past continuous and past perfect to relate main and background events in stories about the past. We use the simple past to describe the main events of a story. لو أنا هحكي قصة بستخدم ال simple past اللي هو verb plus ed أو التصريف التاني للverb بيكون شكل مختلف خالص زي see saw أو go went. هنا عندي بنستخدمه علشان نقول الأحداث الأساسية في story. Giorgio Armani studied medicine in his 20s. Later, in the 1960s, he became a fashion designer. عندي حد هنا درس الطب بعد كده بقى fashion designer. فهنا عندي main events عمل حاجة بعدين عمل حاجة تانية ممكن نكمل بحاجة ثالثة فدي main events اللي عندنا. We use the past continuous اللي هو بيتكون من was or were plus verb plus ing to give background information about events that happened at the same time as one or more of the main events. في عندنا حاجات بتكون بتحصل في نفس الوقت اللي حصل فيه action تاني فده بيكون background event. Marie Curie received her second Nobel Prize in 1911 while she was working at Sorbonne University. وهي بتشتغل في جامعة سوربون هي استلمت جايزة نوبل. يبقى كان في هنا background event اللي هو شغلها في الجامعة وفي الوقت ده خدت الجايزة. We use the past perfect اللي هو had plus pp to give information about background events that happened before main events. هنا بيكون عندي action حصل قبل المين event فده بنحطه في past perfect. When Mozart died in 1791, he had written more than 600 pieces of music. He was only 35 years old. موتزارت ده طبعا مؤلف موسيقي مشهور جدا مات في 1791. بعد ما مات كان كاتب أكتر من 600 مقطوعة موسيقية. يعني هو عمل الحاجة دي الأول وبعدين مات فعشان الأكشن ده حصل قبل الموت يبقى had written. Tip هنا we use when or while to introduce a background activity or to show that two background activities happened at the same time. بنستخدم when أو while علشان نقدم ال background activity اللي حصل في ال background أو علشان نقول إن two actions حصلوا في نفس الوقت زمان. I met Anna when or while I was traveling in the US. While or when I was cooking, Alex was working. ممكن تيجي في الأول ممكن تيجي في النص. We use when not while to introduce a main event. لو أنا بقى هتكلم عن main event حصل في الباست مش هستخدم while هستخدم when بس. When I met Anna I was traveling in the US. المين event عندي هنا إن أنا قابلت أنا. When we met I had been in the US for 6 months. لما اتقابلنا أنا كنت في اليو اس بقالي 6 شهور فبرضو المهم عندي إن احنا اتقابلنا. تعالوا نطبق اللي احنا قلناه ده على exercise صغير في الكتاب. Match the examples 1 to 3 with A to C. Number 1 هنا she had worked hard all day. تفتكروا الجملة دي بتعبر عن ايه بالظبط؟ An action in progress at a past time يعني action حصل في الباست بس خد وقت طويل شوية ولا a completed action حصل وانتهى. Letter C an action which happened before the main event حاجة حصلت قبل المين event. هنا number 1 ده example عن an action which happened before the main event. Number 2 when she was coming home from work one day. هنا عندي بقى an action in progress at a past time ولا a completed action حصل وانتهى ولا كان في الباست واخد وقت شوية. طبعا هنا هنقول an action in progress at a past time علشان هنا when she was coming home from work one day وهي راجعة من الشغل في يوم ايه اللي حصل فهيحصل action تاني. Number 3 the driver asked her to give up her seat. لما طلب منها ان هي تدي الكرسي بتاعها لحد ده كده هو طلب خلاص asked يبقى a completed action. نحل exercise تاني مع بعض. Complete the article using the correct form of the verbs in parentheses, the simple past, past continuous, or past perfect. The race to the North and South Poles. In January 1911, Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen and his team start a journey from a camp in Antarctica. هنا عندي أول verb start، يبقى هنا simple past، هو action حصل وانتهى خلاص وبياخد وقت قصير، يبقى started. 8 men with 86 dogs tried to become the first people to reach the South Pole. هنا بيحكي لي عن background event، يبقى were trying. Amundsen and his team leave Norway by boat in June 1910. طبعا هنا 1910 حصلت قبل 1911، فده كده action حصل قبل التاني، يبقى had left. For the first month of the journey, Amundsen's team not know they were heading for the South Pole. Didn't know. They thought they traveled towards the North Pole because Amundsen wanted to be the first person to get there. يبقى they thought they were traveling، وهنا عندي because Amundsen wanted to be، ونكمل. In fact, Amundsen changed his plans when American explorer Robert Peary claimed he reached the North Pole in April 1909. هنا برضو حدث قبل حدث تاني. فعندي هنا in fact Amundsen had changed وبعدين had reached. Number 9 هنا bad weather stopped the team's first attempt and just 5 men and 52 dogs set out on the second attempt. هنا عندي stop مش بياخد برضو وقت، يبقى bad weather stopped، بنعمل هنا double PED. They arrive at the South Pole on Friday, December 14th, 1911. هنا عندي they arrived. While all this happened, British explorer Robert Scott led a team to the South Pole too. While all this عندي هنا while يبقى was happening. British explorer Robert Scott was leading، يبقى two actions كانوا بيحصلوا مع بعض في الباست. Scott's team reached it on January 17th, 1912 only to find that Amundsen's team arrived there first. هنا عندي Scott's team هتبقى reached only to find that Amundsen's team، طبعا هو اكتشف ان هم عملوا ايه؟ had arrived. ليه هنا had arrived؟ عشان verb حصل قبل verb تاني. Scott and his team all die on their journey home. All died. Number 7 هنا look at the picture of the 1969 moon landing. Match answers A to H with questions 1 to 8. Then take turns telling the story of the moon landing using the simple past, past continuous and past perfect. احنا هنوصل وانتوا تفكروا في الستوري. Number 1 when did Apollo 11 leave Earth؟ هنا بيسأل عن وقت. نفكر مع بعض كده نشوف الاختيارات عندي من A ل H. Took samples and did experiments approximately 530 million. Nobody had landed on the moon before. Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin. About 6 months. July 16th, 1969. Nearly 200 hours waiting in orbit over the moon. Number 1 هتبقى July 16th, 1969. Number 2 how long had the astronauts trained؟ هتبقى هنا about 6 months. Number 3 who landed on the moon؟ هنا بيسأل عن حد، يبقى عندي Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin. Number 4 how many TV viewers were watching؟ بيسأل عن عدد ناس، يبقى number 4 عندي approximately 530 million. بعد كده number 5 what did they do on the moon؟ عملوا ايه وهم على القمر فوق؟ took samples and did experiments. Letter A. Number 6 what was the third astronaut doing؟ كان بيعمل ايه تالت واحد معاهم؟ waiting in orbit over the moon. Number 7 how long did they stay in space؟ قعدوا قد ايه فوق؟ nearly 200 hours. آخر حاجة معايا why was this a turning point؟ اللي خلى ده نقطة تحول؟ nobody had landed on the moon before. محدش عمل كده قبلهم. كده خلصنا الجزء الخاص بالنهاردة، واستنوني في حلقة جديدة نكمل فيها يونت 2 مع بعض.